Hey guys, welcome back. I'm attorney Jessica, and welcome back to my channel where we talk about legal news, legal updates, chit chat, and anything else in between. I hope that my content helps you know your rights and walk through life differently, and perhaps even empower you to go to law school. And that's what this topic is today. And that's what this topic is today, how to become a lawyer in the United States. My opinions are going to be based on whether you are a student here in the United States. It is a lot more complex and a different explanation if you are a lawyer or a student outside of the United States wanting to move here and become a lawyer. So we'll leave that for a different video, but let's talk about students that are here in the United States. Let me give you the summary version of how to become a lawyer, and then we can expand on those things. First, graduate from high school, boom. Then graduate from college, boom. Then graduate from law school, boom. Then pass a bar exam. Congratulations, you're a lawyer. Now let's break it down. Yeah, it's not as simple as it sounds, right? So first you have to graduate high school, get good enough grades, and make it into college. Almost anyone can get into college. Yes, you might not be able to make it to Harvard, right? Not everyone makes it to Harvard, Yale, the Ivy League schools, but there's always a university or college out there for anyone. It's just whether you want it or not. So you get into college. This is where you need to start thinking about the future. If you are in college and you want to go to law school, you got to start thinking about preparing for the LSAT. The LSAT is an entry-level exam, and the score is used by schools, by law schools, to gauge what kind of thinker you are and whether you can make it through their program. So Ivy League schools will want a higher score in the LSAT. Other schools may want anybody within a certain range here in the middle. And then there are some law schools that if you score poorly, they might still take you in if you show certain resumes or GPAs and other things that make you a strong candidate. So try to take the LSAT while you are still in college. Take prep LSATs, meaning they don't officially count whatever score it is, but it allows you to see where you are on the score and how much you can improve. Now, I don't know how true this is, but someone told me whenever I was studying for the LSAT, I used the Princeton review program, and one of the teachers, I suppose, of the Princeton review program said, look, statistics show that the most someone can improve in an LSAT score based on the first time they take it without any formal sort of education or preparation for the LSAT, the most someone can improve from that point is about 9 to 11 points. So don't kid yourself if you're thinking I'm at a 140 and I want to make a 165. Most prep courses tell you that that's really hard and almost impossible. Now, I don't know how true that is. I did improve within that range, so I'll give you that. But I don't know how true that is, and maybe somebody can comment below if you actually experience a jump of more than 11 points. Tell me in the comments, tell me how long you studied so that people that are watching this video can understand kind of how much time they are going to have to put in to improve. I've met many people who were stuck in a very, very narrow range. So for example, their first test was somewhere around like the bottom 140s, and they studied for like 4 years and they kept making bottom 140s and never improving. And so that tells you something. Then there are other people that I have seen them improve like within that 9 to 11 range. I haven't yet met someone that has improved more than that. So I still think that there is some validity to some of that argument that was made in favor during those programs. But also that may be just something that these programs tell you to, so that you don't come back and point the finger at them if you don't improve more than a certain amount. So that's the LSAT in short. During college, you have to focus on your grades. Most law schools, more respected law schools, most of them are going to want you to have at least a 3.5 GPA, right? There are many other law schools that won't care what your GPA is as long as it's above, like a 2.7 or something. But it's really important that you choose your law school wisely. So you don't want to just end up with whoever takes you, because that law school will dictate what kind of jobs and job offers you're going to receive after the bar exam. And in fact, where you go to law school determines whether you're even going to pass a bar exam. So think about that as well. So now you are in college, you have good enough grades, you have a solid LSAT score, you start making applications with your personal statement. And typically that is within your junior year or your senior year. And that personal statement in the application is really important because that's where you want to tell law schools what kind of candidate you are. And here's what I want to give you as my personal opinion. Your personal statement should be focused on how you are going to uphold the name of the law school high and bring honor to that law school, not only whether it shows whether you're going to pass the bar exam, but what you're going to do with it further than that. Law schools, to be quite honest, here's my opinion. Like I said, personal opinion. I believe law schools want people that are not going to fail the bar exam because that hurts their ranking. I believe that law schools want people that are going to be successful and in return are going to constantly donate money to the law school and to the programs. And 3, I believe that law schools want people who are going to be reputable and impressive throughout their career and amongst their peers, so that whenever someone goes and reads their biography or someone is giving them an award, what's the first thing they're going to say when they talk about their history? So-and-so person graduated as an alum from so-and-so law school, has been practicing yada, yada, yada. That name of the law school is constantly going to be said over and over in connection with that lawyer. So think about that when you're writing your personal statement. And I kid you not, I believe you're going to get some scholarships if you are already a strong candidate, and then you focus on how you're going to use your legal career, your legal education to better the world, and how it's going to benefit law schools. So then you apply, you get into law school, you go through law school. Remember, law school is usually graded on a curve. So if you're not stacking up and really measuring up amongst your peers, you can get kicked out if your GPA falls below a certain number. There, you're fighting for the grades. There's a certain amount of A's, A pluses, A minuses, B pluses, B minuses, B's that are going to be given out. If you are not in the top area and you eventually let your GPA drop, law schools can kick you out no matter how much you've gotten into debt for being in that law school. So be careful. Doesn't matter if it's your first year or your second year. Sure, they're going to give you opportunities to better your grade, but it's not like college. In law school, you usually don't get homework to get grades. Your grade is your final exam at the end of the semester. So the whole semester, you don't have anything grading you other than the attendance. And then you get, at the end of the semester, you have a test by each course, and that's your grade. That's it. So you have to be really on top of your game the entire semester because you only have one grading opportunity. So make sure you do a good job through law school. You graduate from law school. And when you graduate, typically you'll graduate in May. So you'll go from May through mid-July studying for a bar exam. A bar exam is, depends on which state you're going to be practicing in. But for example, in Texas and many other states, it's usually a 2 to 3 day test. Here in Texas, I believe they already cut it down to 2 days. It used to be 3 whenever I took the state bar exam, but you want to focus and make sure that you take the test of where you're going to practice. It doesn't matter if you went to law school somewhere else, but if you're going to have a job in California or plan to spend your time working in California, even if you don't have a job lined up yet, go and take the California bar exam. If you have job offers in Texas and plan to be practicing in Texas, perhaps, I don't know what happened. Somehow they got through law school and no one explained it. But I've met a couple of people that went and took an easy bar exam thinking that, well, just practice here and have reciprocity among other states. No, not every state will take you in. Some states will still make you take their bar exam, even if you've been licensed 100 years in some other state. Like, be very careful. Read the instructions of every state bar and find out what you need to do to get there if you ever plan on practicing law there. So that's it. You graduate law school. You take the bar exam, you pass. Usually scores are not given to you right away. So think about it. You're studying from May through July. You take the July exam. It's 2 to 3 days. And then you wait in most states until November or late October to receive your scores. Oh, and I almost forgot. There is an ethics test, the MPRE, that you have to take some way, either through law school or after the bar exam. There's a couple of instances where you can take it and you have to pass it. If you don't pass it, even if you pass the bar exam, you will not get licensed in most states. So in short, that is the long version of what you need to do to become a lawyer here in the United States. I'm happy to answer any questions and give you more feedback into more specific and niche areas that you may have about this process. So leave them in the comments below and I'll be happy to answer them. I hope this was helpful. And if it was helpful to you, please be sure to hit the like button, subscribe, and share it with someone that you think may help. Again, I'm Jessica. You can follow me on Instagram and TikTok.